So there's this video going viral, and it's making a pretty shocking claim that India is on the verge of launching a surprise attack against Pakistan. But how exactly is that argument built? In this explainer, we're going to break down the evidence presented in that video, piece by piece, to really understand the story it's trying to tell.
Yeah, the source doesn't pull any punches. Its central claim, the thing that shapes everything else, is that an Indian attack could happen at any moment. That's the big assertion we're going to dig into.
So to really get how they build this case, we're just going to follow their logic step by step. We'll start with that surprise attack idea, then look at the so-called signs of preparation, see how they tie it to the global chessboard, and then uncover the really crucial part, connecting war and markets. Then we'll wrap up with the source's takeaway.
All right, first up, let's look at the very foundation of this whole theory. Where does this idea of a sudden, imminent conflict actually come from? What's the source's starting point?
What's really interesting is that the video doesn't kick off with some dry military analysis or a political speech. Nope, it starts with a personal story. A chef who claims his entire village near the border was just evacuated overnight. It's a clever way to ground the whole thing in a real human experience, right? It makes the threat feel way more immediate.
And then, bam! From that one single story, the video jumps right up to the highest level of government. It pulls a quote from Prime Minister Modi talking about being ready for every challenge and presents it as, essentially, political confirmation that this evacuation is just one part of a much, much bigger plan.
Okay, so after setting the stage with that story and the quote, the video then starts laying out what it claims is, hard evidence of war preparations happening right inside India.
So the source starts connecting the dots, pointing to what it calls a really clear pattern of activity. You've got the Prime Minister in urgent meetings, the National Security Advisor doing a full review, top defense officials talking preparedness. It even throws in this cultural detail, noting that the Army and Air Chiefs visited major temples, and frames it as this, traditional act of seeking blessings before something big is about to happen.
And then the argument pivots to money, a lot of money. The source puts this huge number on the screen, 2,400 crore rupees. That's about 285 million US dollars, and presents it as a critical financial signal that a massive military mobilization is underway.
So where's all that cash going? Well, according to the video, it's for brand new defense hardware. They specifically call out things like the Ghatak unmanned strike aircraft and those advanced S-400 missile systems. Basically arguing, hey, this is exactly the kind of stuff you buy when you're gearing up for a fight. And then the story zooms back in to the local level, with another detail that's meant to feel really immediate. Reports of sirens going off in the border city of Jaisalmer. This is used to suggest that even the public is being prepped for some kind of emergency. Okay, so after laying out all this domestic evidence, the source makes a bigger point. It says you can't really understand any of this in a vacuum. To get the full picture, you gotta look at the global chessboard.
And here's how they do it. The video draws this direct line between the current tensions with the US and Iran and the India-Pakistan situation. The argument is that, hey, with the whole world watching the Middle East, a kind of strategic window could be opening up for India to make a move while everyone else is distracted.
Now, this is a really key moment where the whole narrative pivots towards the money. The source highlights a report claiming the US told India there would be no blank check if a conflict broke out. The way the video interprets this is that this lack of a guaranteed US financial backstop would make foreign investors really nervous, and that could trigger a huge sell-off in the Indian stock market.
And that brings us right to what seems to be the video's real focus, the stock market. It argues that all these geopolitical tensions aren't just news headlines, they are direct signals that traders can and should act on.
So the main indicator the video uses to prove its point, it's gold. The idea is pretty simple, right? When things get scary, people buy gold. The video shows a chart where gold first dips about 2.5%, but then, boom, it surges up 10%. And that sharp rebound is framed as the ultimate proof that fear in the market is heating up, fast.
So once it's built up this whole climate of fear and, opportunity, the video then introduces its solution, a trading platform called Shark Exchange. It's pitched as the perfect tool for viewers to cash in on all this volatility, highlighting features like low costs and crypto trading. It's a pretty clear pivot from geopolitical analysis to a direct product pitch.
And this all boils down to the video's main piece of financial advice. The message is basically, don't panic. When you see the market dropping because of all this war talk, that's your chance to buy assets on the cheap.
All right, so let's tie all of this together. How does the video actually weave all these different threads,
politics, military moves, global events, and market signals into one big final argument. And here it is, the whole story in a nutshell. The source argues that you've got leadership in action mode, you've got that massive defense budget, you've got real activity on the border, a strategic window opening up globally, and finally, you have market indicators like the price of gold confirming all the rising tension. It's a story designed to connect all the dots into one single, powerful thesis. So there you have it. That's the complete narrative presented in the source video, linking a whole series of data points to build this compelling case for both an impending conflict and a market opportunity. And it leaves us with a really important question, not just about this video, but about how we process information in general. In any complex story like this, where do we draw the line? Where does the analysis of facts end, and where does the speculation about the future begin?